So, good morning. Once more. Can we just raise our hands like this? Great. Maybe sideways little bit. Maybe here like that. Just to feel better. Some energy. So, here we talk about the very important topic which all of you should know. This is not, I'm not thinking that you should be able to teach this, but you should definitely be knowing about this, because all of you are talking about entrepreneurial ecosystem, where you should be actually minimally aware of in what way the intellectual property can be protected. What are the ways? So, the students tomorrow can ask you, sir, what should I do? I got fantastic innovation. What should I do with that thing? So, you should have some basic education related to this activity, and therefore, we are talking about this particular aspect, and let us understand what is intellectual property. But before that, I'll ask, what is property? I got property. This laptop is my property. This building is my property. What do you mean by that? Sorry? Authority. Ownership. Authority is I am the boss. Like our director has authority in the premises here, I mean IIT, but it's not his property. All right. So, somebody said ownership, that is correct. Anything else?
Somebody has to ask for the permission before he does something to that.
Correct.
That belongs to him.
Correct. Second, third thing. But that can be, anyway, we will talk about that later on. Any third thought about this? What is, I have a property, what do you mean by that thing?
It has value.
Asset, value, every property has value.
This thing belongs to me. If I say property.
Possession.
It's actually legally
Possession.
Possession, correct.
Legally mine.
Legally mine, that is also correct.
It's my idea, it's my creation.
Need not be. This laptop you can buy from me. Laptop is mine, you can buy. It's not your creation. You own it, that is fine. You possess it. What is that? Legal rights. Then what is that? What else? Any other term associated with property?
I can sell it.
I can sell it, very important. What do you mean by that? No, I don't. I mean,
I can sell it.
I can have property, I have not even seen it still, isn't it? Something is existing, let's say I'm in other country and something is in India on my name. I am the owner, but I have possibly not seen it also. So, I can't identify it. Yeah.
Things on which we will have a full rights.
Sorry?
And things on which we will have a full rights.
Yeah. Things on which I will have full rights. That's correct. Anybody else?
Commercial value. I can sell it, lease it, rent it, license it to someone.
Yeah. So, that is what I am coming to. It has a value, definitely. That's why it's a property. A property has got some value, and I am the owner of that property. That's most important. So, first most important thing is the ownership. And property, I am saying not only flat. When you say flat or a house, I am talking about simple laptop, anything. Small slide changer also. So, yeah, first is ownership. Second most important thing is, the moment I have got ownership, I decide what is to be done with this property. It is my decision. Nobody else can dictate. No one else can dictate on what should I do with this property. All right. So, I am free to use as the owner wishes, and I can ask others. They cannot do anything with my property. This is my property. If I got a laptop, I may use it, I may not use it. I can deny access to others, I can give the access to others. It's completely my decision. All right. If I extend it further, what is intellectual property? Okay, simple property is something that we talked about. Are these all true with intellectual property?
Yes.
So, what is not true with this?
That particular creation part.
Particular
Creation part.
creation part. Why? I can have a fantastic design of a laptop. I mean, it's my creation.
It's intangible.
Yes. Intellectual property is something which is, you can't see it three-dimensionally. The thought process that went through, all right, the ideas that came to my mind. For example, I got a fantastic house and I have planned my house. The thought processes cannot be seen by somebody. It can be seen only when the property is ready, or I can draw on a paper or something like that. But intelligence is something between the 2 ears that I have. I can use it the way I want. If I am good, I can make money out of it. All right. If I can make something absolutely new which others cannot perceive, depending on the need that we have, because it will always look for a problem.
But one thing, in case of process IPR, you can say it's intangible. In case of product IPR, how can you say?
No,
it's
process also, if one can see process, one can see the process happening. I got 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to
But
4.
for product IPR, it is not.
No, for even I can imagine the process. I have to first think about it, and then you are not doing my trial and error. You are actually, there is some commitment, there is some documentation, there is something, thought processes have gone behind all these things. So intelligent property or intellectual property is something which type of property that results from the creation of human mind. I have used my brain for which I have been trained for. If I am in class 10th, my 10th class education, because of my education up to 10th class, I could imagine something. If I am in engineering college, my engineering knowledge and the basics science that I have imagined something, and that is why I can see a product. So depending on your background and depending on how committed you are and how you use your intelligence power, you are coming with a new idea, new product, and that is why we say it has come with your human mind. So you train your human mind more and more, it will come out with more and more ideas. So training is important. You cannot suddenly expect from a 4th class graduate to do some big C programming or something, or come with an algorithm. All right. So it has to be trained, it has to be exposed, it has to see, it has to experience. And for all these things, later on, you start that his or her mind has started solving a problem. And out of that solution or a problem, you're getting a process or a product. That is what we are interested in right now. So the moment I got a property here, I can give it to somebody and rent it, and I can make money out of this. Similarly, if I got intellectual property, I can use this intellectual property to come out with some device, some idea, some process, some product, and then I can lease it, I can license it, or I can use it myself also, or I can make money out of it the way I am doing everything here. I will own it, I will allow others to use it, I will charge them, or I will not do anything, I will just sit on it also. It's completely my wish because it's my property, it's my intellectual property. So it can be owned, sold, leased, or licensed. You get leave and license. A flat agreement is on leave and license. Similarly, I got my idea, my intellectual property can be given on lease. It can be licensed to a company. All right, and it can be owned by me, and I can start a company, let's say, on that intellectual property that I have, or I can sell it completely for a value whatever I feel like. Very important this is. Let me tell you, in the last 2 months since I have taken over at Dean R&D, I am spending a lot of time only on these issues, on the litigations involved in these things. Because so many of technologies have been licensed from IIT Bombay outside. They are for a fixed duration. They are leased for 3 years. Then I have to extend it for 3 more years, depending on whether they are doing business or not. They are licensed to somebody. Exclusive rights are given to somebody. One technology has been given to 2 persons, and they have started fighting among them. So I can tell you n number of examples where I am actually struggling right now. All right. So technology which was generated in somebody's PhD work, a student, the professor and the student started a company. Somebody leased it, somebody licensed it. They also started, and they started competing also with each other, because everything was done legally. But then we have to take such thing, because everybody is in legal rights. Everybody has got authority to use this the way they want. So why did this happen? Now I'll come back. Why was the need to have such intellectual property to be protected? Who did that thing? Who thought about this? When did it happen? Otherwise, what would have happened if there was no IP protection law? All right. So in order to solve this problem, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, to which India is signatory, not all the countries are signatories, who abide by the patent rules, who abide by the IP rules, came together, and that happened quite early. So the Global Forum for Intellectual Property Services, they did the policy, information and cooperation. They came together, and the WIPO Convention is a treaty that established in WIPO. The convention was signed in Stockholm in 1970. All right, and entered into force in 1970. So thought processes had already gone. If you imagine earlier, all the transactions or all the friends were basically because of trading, because of all business, because of products. And therefore, everybody who has worked, say I have worked for 10 years, let's say in my laboratory to come out with some technology. And for 10 years, I don't have any money. I have borrowed, begged, whatever, bought, sold my house, and I've started making some new development, new technology. And I've seen such crazy people everywhere. They have done that thing. So after 10 years, if I come with a product, I've got full rights to get returns on them. And I got full rights to see that others don't get return of my technology for which I have slogged. All my perspiration, inspiration, everything has gone into it. So naturally, it's my right to get money out of this technology which I have generated, I have imagined. I have shown proof of concept. So the world says, okay, you have got full right to get money for a duration of time. After that, it's public. All right, so let's try to understand what is all covered. So when we say patents or when we say IP rights, we always think about it is only about a product. No. Somebody is a good dancer, somebody is a good singer. She or he also have got full rights on the performer there. So tomorrow if I got a fantastic dance here, which happened possibly somewhere, I recorded it. Maybe in New York I recorded it. In India I want to show it now. And I can say come to this hall and I'll charge $5 to everybody. Can I do that thing? Who will see that? Nobody will even come to understand. But I got a fantastic dance somewhere, I recorded it and I am making a big screen out of it. And whoever comes, I give a good Coke bottle and charge them 1,000 rupees to enter. This is my business model. But moment I am doing this, I am infringing on somebody's property rights. Why? How? Because unless I take permission from the dancer or a singer, I cannot do this. I can do it in my hall, I can do it in my drawing room, but I cannot do it for commercial purpose. The moment somebody comes to know that you are making money out of his or her property rights, they can sue me in court. All right, it's very important. That's why all the literary, artistic and scientific work, understand everything, literary, artistic and my drawing is my property. My book, my scientific paper is my property. It's my intellectual property. Performance of performing artists, phonograms and broadcast. Do you know what is phonogram here? Is there anybody who is born before 1980 in the crowd here? Before 1970? Before 1960? So this generation will know before 1980 or 1990 what is a phonogram. Have you seen record player? Right. In my generation, we used to have record player at the perfect sound. There was no digital kind of thing, but we had a perfect sound only for record player. So you can see in 1970 they didn't know what a CD is, for example, all right, or what a pen drive is, or what digital revolution was. Nobody knew, and therefore the word they have is a phonogram because that was their maximum stretchable idea then. All right, so phonograms and broadcasts. See the cricket match. I can actually make a lot of money, just show on a big screen and start commercializing that thing. And that various hotels do that thing. Various hotels. The moment there is a football match in England, I know that the pubs will be full. And each glass of beer will be costing 10 times more because you can see the match. Because they cannot charge the money for the live telecast of the football match. That will be infringing on somebody's rights. But yes, they can make the beer mug 10 times costly that day. So it's a business model because they know that they can't charge for the live telecast on a screen basically. All right. So inventions in all the fields of human endeavor, scientific discoveries and industrial designs. So you see everything is getting covered under that. Trademark, service mark, commercial names and designations. All right. So I can't have actually a name called IIT, but you can find several MITs everywhere in India. I think every state will have one MIT in India. Right. In Maharashtra, we have got Maharashtra Institute of Technology. We have got several. In Bihar, I know Muzaffarpur Institute of Technology, and they will always refer to as NIT, MIT. Mahakaleshwar, yes, I am sure every state will have one MIT. Actually, you can't use it, and they will never use it, but it's for publicity basically. All right. So such names are actually not allowed because they are their commercial name. They are actually registered names, by the way. Protection against unfair competition.
But sir, it is MIT stands for a short.
Yeah.
Anything can be MIT.
Yeah. So that's why the advantage they take. If it is officially said MIT, for example, on the letterhead, suppose they start writing MIT, it will be contested.
Because MIT itself is Massachusetts.
Yeah, but they have registered as MIT.
They have registered.
They have registered MIT. And so therefore nobody can register the MIT, isn't it? IIT Bombay is a brand name for us. Nobody can have a IIT Bombay as an institution now. For example, I am telling. Sign is registered name now. Nobody can have an incubator named Sign. So they may be calling, have you registered it as MIT?
Yeah, it is an MIT quota.
MIT quota. So you call it one name, MIT quota. You will not say only MIT. Still that can be contested, by the way. If you are registered doesn't mean that you got full rights, because that can be tomorrow MIT comes to know that they can sue you actually. Nobody will do that thing because that way you will get a lot of publicity also. But the point is, see, every patent, every granted patent doesn't mean that you got a absolutely, real patent. It can be contested. So suppose, I'll come to that later on. I got a patent doesn't mean that I got full right, because tomorrow when a real competition happens, the other person may say I got a patent which is not correct. It can be contested. All right, so he can prove it, because right now he will not prove it, but when the competition becomes real, fearsome, he can actually sue that thing that patent grant was incorrect. Even if it is patent was granted, you can prove it that it was incorrect grant later on. So this world between Samsung and Apple now, you can find several examples of what can happen, all right, related to intellectual properties. So what are the intellectual property rights? If I got an intellectual property, I can protect it by various ways. Okay, so it has got different categories, and I can protect it by, one of the ways is patents. All right, then I can have copyright. Literary, artistic and scientific works, for example books, protection of this property is governed by the laws concerning copyright. So actually I will have to apply for copyrights in that case. Performances, broadcasts, concerts, they are called copyrights related rights. All right. For example, cricket broadcasts I just talked to you about. Third thing is all the inventions which will be governed by patents. Then we have got industrial designs. For example, the shape of a soft drinks bottle. Have you seen the shape of a wine bottle? They're very unique, and they're all industrial design. Whatever look aesthetically good to the eyes can be covered under the car shape. A lot of people can identify the car from distance because of the shape itself. You don't have to see the make of the car for that, right? I can see the Ambassador from long distance. I can identify this is the Ambassador. Have you seen Ambassador? Yes. Now it is going down basically. Only in Kolkata, for example, you can see in taxi form. Trademarks. You know trademarks, right? Very important, and we'll cover all these things one by one. So you should know, you should identify what is the invention that you are doing, and accordingly you can protect it. Do we have to do the patenting? Do you have to have copyright? Can you have a trademark? All right, or can you have trade secrets? Geographical locations, names for a product with unique geographical origin such as champagne. Champagne comes from which place? Comes from France, right? Can be protected by geographical indicators. Can you give me example? You are coming from different places. I'm sure there will be something specific to your region which is famous. For example, I come from Nagpur. So oranges are very famous. Moment I say Nagpur oranges, you can charge something more also. The moment say Banaras sari,
They've got Hapus.
they've got Hapus. So in Konkan, we have got a Hapus mango, which is Alfonso, which is very famous.
Kolhapuri.
Sambalpuri sari, yes.
Pipili applic work.
Sorry?
Pipili applic work.
Yeah. So Kolkata,
Rasgulla.
but Kolkata sari also is there, right? What is it called? Darjeeling tea, yes, absolutely.
Muga silk from Assam.
Yes.
Lucknow chicken curry.
Yeah. Lucknow.
Kota sari and Kota stone.
Kota silk, Kota sari, yes, of course. Cotton also. Banarasi pan. What is famous from Mumbai? Vada pav. So can it be actually registered? It can actually be registered. But why should it be registered? When you see competition, because the moment I know what is this silk from south, Kanchipuram or something, or Banarasi, you can have duplicate. So this association around this geographical actually can sue them that this is a duplicate mal. This cannot be sold. They are taking our names and they sell. And this happens absolutely common. In India, that's not a problem. You can have duplication everywhere. Those people who really sense it by touch and feel, looks and everything, can actually distinguish between the silks. Okay? And I admire those people. So, I mean, a lot of people I have seen by mango smell only they can see whether it's Hapus or not, or which brand it is. All right, so very famous. What is famous from Delhi? Okay, so very important is geographical indicators. Any worldwide, we are talking only about India, but can you tell about the world? For example, the
It's Scotch. It's Scotch.
Scotch. Yes, Scotch comes from
Scotland.
Basmati rice.
Basmati rice comes from
The northern belt of the
India and Pakistan also will claim for it now.
Belgian chocolates.
Belgian chocolates. So diamonds from Hyderabad, for example. All right, pearls.
Pearls from Hyderabad, pearls from there.
Yes. So think about your region, and I'm sure. See, there is a weaver community these days, and they should be registered because a lot of people are still working with hands, and they get minimum due these days, and they should be respected. Literally, they work so hard, and that actually can be seen and recognized the way they work. Very high quality. Everywhere the machine is replacing the handwork. But you can actually distinguish the quality of the work that is done by hand. So, can this community be protected? Somebody has to work on this. A lot of NGOs are coming forward to register them. But under their name, somebody else is selling something which is done by a machine these days. And of course, the young girls will not know all these things. So those who have seen the work done by hands actually should appreciate and do something for this weaver community. Now, I've seen this weaver community getting displaced from down south to somewhere, Gujarat or something, and just disappearing because everybody is getting into trades these days because there is not much money, because their intellectual property is not being recognized properly. Very important. All right. So
One question I have about this GI. For this GI, is there any impact on the import and export cases? Why I'm asking is because that same particular Rasgulla, West Bengal wanted the GI, Odisha protested, but then why such protest? I mean, if Odisha exports Rasgulla, what happens now?
okay, I think let's not get into the.
For different geographical regions, the making procedure is different.
No, that is
For
all right.
example,
I was
getting
just-
two GI tags, it is not fixed for only one state will get one GI tag. It can be also for different. High
No,
state
that is
can
all
also
right. I
have
was-
The good wala rasgulla comes from which place? The good wala, the brownish.
There is no fighting. Actually, for different procedure is
No, actually, where was
See, this can be protected, but this can be claimed by both the community. They have to sit together and they have to see in what way our business can actually go.
I was just
Provided you are registered as GI, area is registered, then it's possible to get advantage of that thing.
why should I protect? I mean, if I export Rasgulla from Kolkata, it's okay. If I export Rasgulla from Bhubaneswar, it's also okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Then why should I protest? That is what I.
No one is protesting actually.
No, there was
No, sir. Actually, I have got the misinformation.
there was because there was a clear-cut protest from the Odisha government that, that was.
See, there is always some politics somewhere start governing because
Yeah, that-
naturally the
that
revenue
can be,
starts.
that can
But
be.
everybody has got rights.
When you come to Odisha, there is a particular place where you get a best quality of rasgulla.
Yes,
And that
I know,
is
I know.
worldwide famous. So
I know
you cannot
that.
compare it with other states also.
I am not comparing. I'm just telling you.
So let's
Bengalis can settle.
let us solve the rasgulla problem later,
Sure.
right? Okay. So once I'll go ahead and the integrated circuits.
Why GI tag? State also earns money. Yeah, only person will earn money.
It's a community. See, not person. This has got famous over generations, not by one person, right? So let's say Banarasi Shalu, Banarasi Sari, people can come together and actually register that. And they should see that now the fact that somebody else is duplicating, they can register, they can sue them also. All right. So they should see that our characteristics are retained and we get the benefits of that. So a Banarasi Sari costs, let's say, 10,000 rupees. Well, somebody comes and says, I got 5,000 rupees. Is it original? It's not original. It lacks in something. But somebody will naturally be, a lot of people will actually, यहाँ पे तो आधा में मिलता है. That kind of a thing. So actually you are diluting the brand therefore. So everybody has got right because it has come over generation to protect that brand. But then you have to register, you have to form in an organized way, something can be done about this.
So that is what I was asking, that if I actually keep all the properties of Banarasi sari and I built it in Lucknow with all the things, is it permitted?
If I am registered as Banarasi Shalu in Banaras, basically, then it has to come from Banaras.
That
has
is
to come
what
from
my
Banaras.
question was also.
Okay, let's go ahead. The thing is, other thing is also integrated circuits. Integrated circuits is electronics. It's electronics. This practice is not, electronics is changing every year. You got a mobile phone every year new, every 2 years new. But in 90s, the circuits were absolutely new and therefore people used to make profit on a particular circuits. Nowadays, this has just remained, nobody registers because they know that there is no profit. By the time you get rights, the technology has changed. All right, but you can still, if you come up with absolutely novel integrated circuit idea, it can still be protected. Then you got a plant varieties protection, agriculture people also. If you come up with something new, for example, GM cotton, again a topic of debate and research, I can protect those varieties and I can make money out of that thing. Trade secret. Trade secret is not to tell anything about our product. For example, Coca-Cola. Nobody has come with Coca-Cola drink yet for last hundreds of years. 100 years, the trade secret has been kept as secret. Don't you think that a lot of people must have tried to do something? They can reverse engineer it also, but they are not yet been successful to have the same taste for the drink like Coca-Cola, and they could therefore retain the entirety. It is not patented. It's a trade secret. It's a recipe. All right, chemical processes, for example, you don't want to, the moment I do patenting, I have to reveal everything. When I have to reveal everything, that means somebody can make it. But then I have to police it also, that somebody should not make a business. While trade secret means not to write anything about it. For example, I got a particular Golgappa Pani Puri wala outside. I will go everywhere in the world, I say nothing like Pawai. Because that is its trade secret. What all goes into it, how much dirty hands he has and all that thing. All right, that might be adding some taste also possibly, but that's his trade secret, his or her trade secret. All right, because he is not revealing that process to anybody, that taste never comes to anybody from any place. All right, that is his or her trade secret. The trade secret of mother's recipe, for example. You go all over the world and see nothing like my mother, for example. So that's a trade secret because that's the process that she has followed over years, and that is why what you like. Nobody else can put that kind of namak, that kind of mirch or whatever, that combination. It's a unique combination, optimum combination for our taste. So that is her trade secret. However hard you try to do it, you cannot do it because that's it. And she's not going to cram 2 grams and 3 grams and 4 grams like that, isn't it? It's just by hand, basically, you put something. So that is what my grandmother did. I mean, I love my grandmother's cooking because of the experience that she had. Never did any calculation of half chammach and 2 chammach, but The recipe was fantastic. All right. So these were all. Can you repeat with me? What are the different categories I talked about? What was the first one? Copyright. Second one? Copyright related rights, we say it, broadcasts, etc. Third one? Patents. Fourth? Trademarks, integrated circuits, industrial design, geographical, then plant varieties, then trade secrets. Please remember this. A startup will not be bothered about trade secret, will we? Will it? No. Let us now look at startup. The startup will be bothered about not trade secret, not many will come in plant, not many will come in integrated circuit, because they want immediate things. So what do you think that startup would be interested in? Which kind of categories of intellectual property they'll be interested in? Patents, industrial design, copyright, trademark, yeah. Maybe trade secret. In India, we don't have trade secret, but we have got some legal protection to that thing. Somewhere, let's say I'm talking about recipe or a food business, they possibly could be. So let us try to understand these things, because from entrepreneurial point of view, these are the things will be important. Let's see now what is a patent. What is a patent? The patent is a right granted to inventors to prevent unauthorized use of an invention within a particular territory for a limited value. Right? The highlighted words are very important. The patent is to prevent unauthorized use of my invention, let's say, if I am the inventor. But this thing is valid for a particular territory. Maybe I got Indian patent, so my patent is valid only in India. All right, and limited time. Patent has to be renewed. An Indian patent first you get for 7 years, then you renew, and maximum 20 years is allowed. All right, after 20 years, we say that you must have got all your money back, whatever money you had put in to make this invention, and now it is public knowledge. So now anybody can use it after that. It does not guarantee freedom to exploit the invention. What does it mean? So very important is, you can patent a very small thing also. But ultimately, why I am patenting? Because I want to get some commercial advantage. Otherwise, what is the point in spending money? Patent is very costly business. Anybody amongst you have patented anything right now? Got copyright. So for this you have to pay. And if you want to do foreign country patent, it costs much more. It can cost to 4 to 5 lakhs. And if there is some legal entity involved, that means you have to, you are claiming that this is not correct, that is not correct, because your FER will come, the first examination report will come, and the patent attorney make a lot of money in this. It's like legal thing. It's like going to a court and advocates make a lot of money. Same thing here. It never possibly happens that you have applied for a patent and you get a grant immediately. First of all, it's a very long process. It may take 5 years or 6 years to grant a patent, to get a grant. But many times it goes extended because a lot of queries get answered here and there. Iterative process it is, and every time you have to pay. The moment I say it's not freedom to exploit means, if I talk about mechanical engineering, for example, let's say I have designed a cooling method for an engine. You got a radiator there, right? I have done some changes in the heat exchanger, which I believe is efficient. But the car manufacturer will not allow my innovation to be given, or I will not be able to exploit my innovation unless I get engine patents, isn't it? So I can have a cooling mechanism to my credit, but I will not be able to exploit it unless I get the rights over the engine patents. I have 2 options: either I give my invention to them, car manufacturers or engine manufacturer, or I take their patents to me and then sell it entirely by myself. So I will not be having entire freedom to exploit, because this patent is dependent on other things. All right. So you don't get complete freedom unless you got absolutely new brilliant idea, which is very rare. You actually play around something, you make some performance better. All right, that kind of a thing. But if you come with absolutely new, brilliant. That is what we want. For example, this is one of my patents. A patent would look like this. I just want to show you how does it look. This is a US patent granted in 2009, and my work was related to, do you know NMR machine? One NMR machine, chemistry people, chemical engineering people, cost around 8 to 10 crores. Very costly. And we have done some, and it's a very vibration prone. The moment you tap on the floor, it will show on the noise. So there is no vibration that the machine can tolerate. So we have done some innovation related to vibration, and that we wanted to protect, and we got it protected. A patent looks like this, where it tells what is the country's name, a patent name, and the date of the grant will be written over there. You can have the first author, the way we write publication, Carr et al. Philip Carr was the first author. Then it is assigned to a company called Oxford Instruments, where I worked, UK, in Oxford. So I am the inventor, one of the inventors here. These are the names here, inventors, Milind Divakar Atre, and assignee. The patent is assigned to this company. The next patent, I am the only author of this patent, again US patent, 2007. I am the inventor, I have assigned it to Oxford Instruments Superconductivity Limited. It is on a MRI machine, related to MRI machine. Now, the patent has a number, and it has got last digit B2, which is granted. When you file a patent, what is important is the first page looks like this. What are the inventors? Who are the inventors? Who are it assigned to? Some kind of application date, file dates, all the references that you have got here, some kind of abstract, and one important figure. So from the first page, you will come to know what is it all about. But what is important in patent are the claims, which are written in the last few pages, which could be 10 claims, 15 claims, 16 claims, 20 claims. The claims are very, very important. But before the claim comes, I have to actually explain the entire assembly completely in such a way that tomorrow somebody can duplicate it. So I have to write every small little thing for a layman's perspective. Yeah.
So it's, you are the author there.
Yeah.
Milind Divakar Atre.
Yeah.
Let's say you write only Milind Atre and I also be as the same name, Milind Atre.
Yeah, but I have assigned it to the company. Anyway, I am the inventor. That's the only. And actually, the address also written here somewhere. When you apply, you have to write your local address also. All right, very important. The question that you are asking is true everywhere, isn't it? Tomorrow I pass one exam, you can claim I have passed the exam. But of course, they got all the details there, because when you write inventor, you got an address to be given also where you live. All right, very important thing. And I'm working in this company, I have assigned to somebody. If you want to write your name, you will get your name as inventor, but you will not get anything out of it because it's assigned to a company.
Other identity documents are also.
There are all identical documents. I have signature somewhere and all that thing.
And this is valid only for US?
This is US valid for US. And then you have to file a patent for every country. So I'm showing you the US. This gone to Europe and then China and then Japan and everywhere. There is nothing called as world patent, by the way. You have to actually choose country by country, depending on, for example, I got a patent on two-wheeler, cycle. Why should I pay money to get a US patent? Hardly there are anybody who is using cycle for commercial. I would rather have it in China, Indonesia, Malaysia, around us, India, where the cycle is an important thing, or in Europe also. In some countries in Europe, cycle is pretty popular. So you have to find out in which country you will do business, and accordingly
Somebody
go
can
for it.
copy it from here and apply to another country.
I'll come to you what is patentable now. What is the requirement of patentability? When I have already done it, there is nothing novel now. Novelty is all over the world. Somebody has done in the world, nobody can do it. I'll come to what requirement of a patenting. Okay, now patent is sometimes negative right. That means if I am doing fantastic research on some cooler, because my area is normally cooling, and I'm developing a new cooler, And moment I come to know that somebody has already patented that cooler technology, it actually becomes negative sense to me, isn't it? Why should I work on it now? I would say rather, oh, I should not make money and I should not spend money in this direction because somebody has already patented it now. There is no point in I spending money, time, everything. So that way, it is preventing others to do research on that topic, which is not good. Fundamentally, I should have all the rights to do research in every field. But if I am working in a company, and I am seeing from commercial point of view, there are two companies or an academic institute also is a partner. But the moment I see I am working towards one thing and somebody else also working on the same thing, and moment I see that they have got patent now, it means I will be actually disappointed, discouraged to do in that, to work in that area, to spend money in that area, because everywhere research means putting funds. All right, so that way it goes negative because it prevents others to now put in money and time and perspiration and everything. I get benefit for you get benefit for your knowledge which is built over time. So why patent is this, that I have worked and slogged for so many years, I should get all the worth it now. Patents are territorial. For example, Indian patent has no force in other countries, just as the foreign patent has no force in our country. Limited time, 20 years from the date of application. Positive right restricted by previous patent. As I said, that if I do some changes in my small machine, I am still getting restricted by other patent because I don't have rights on those patents. All right, I have to write on other, so that then only I will be able to do it commercially exploit it. If I have done some small change of cooling in an engine, unless I get engine patent, I will not be able to do business. So either I should sell it to somebody or I should get all the background patents, which is very important. So whenever you file a patent, we say to reach this patent, I have worked here, I worked for so many years. What about this IP? Right? All these things of background IP is also very important. Freedom to operate in all that thing. The requirements of patentability. This is a very important thing. There are only 4 or 5 things that you should ask yourselves if you want to patent something, does it satisfy all these requirements? The requirements are, what do you think the requirement should be?
Novelty, non-obviousness.
One of which is novelty.
Should be non-obvious.
Yes.
Commercial purpose. It should be, the idea should be commercial purpose.
I don't know today, tomorrow it could be, yes, but it has to have some utility value.
Yeah.
Commercial purpose is possibly later on, but anything else? What is patentable? If I go for a nice sleep, and tomorrow morning, you wake up with, fantastic, I got a dream, but I will not tell you, I will first patent it. A lot of people say this. Has anybody experienced like this? Some friend of yours loosely saying, I have a fantastic idea, and I had a good dream, I have a fantastic idea in the sleep, I had this idea, but I will not tell you because first otherwise you will copy it or something like that. No idea can be patented unless I have shown some kind of a conceptual work in my laboratory or somewhere. I need to have some demonstration of that. A patent office would say, okay, show me the concept. Show me the proof that you have worked on this. Show me some minimum working knowledge of the technology that you plan to develop. Maybe you don't have a product today, but you should actually have some proof of concept shown here. So very important requirement is its subject matter and not abstract idea. I should not talk about the blue sky to be converted to red. I have got a technology that I make it red. I am working on this idea, has no meaning. All right, it's an abstract idea. All right. Novelty is the most important thing. A lot of people fail to prove that this idea is novel, because such idea may exist in other context, nearby context. You have to prove that novelty. The court can ask you prove that novelty, non-obviousness. There is an empty bottle, and the empty bottle is being used for something, and I say, let me have a lead on it. And I am trying to patent that lead idea. What is lead? I mean, it's an obvious thing. Obviously, somebody has made empty bottle for some usage. You're just adding a lead to it. Doesn't mean that it can be patented. having lid on an open bottle is absolutely obvious. Suppose I want to have a good conductor, I want to use conductor, naturally I would use copper. But using copper is going to prevent me some functionality. But somebody can say, okay, just for the sake of it, a lot of people, a lot of companies actually want to have patent number increasing, because that way they can market that we have got 20 patents in this area. Let me tell you, 95% patents are absolutely rubbish. It's only 5% that makes a difference. But a lot of companies who want number of patents to be on their portfolio because that sells. If I want somebody to invest in my company, one of the marketing criteria for me will be I got 10 patents in that area. I am so brilliant that I got 10 patents. No problem if those 10 patents are bad. They are no use commercially for me. Yeah.
But then won't investors look into this aspect?
No, the investor don't understand technology so much, right? But investor will be, oh, you got a US patent, come on, great. But they don't understand there is no commercial value into that thing. So therefore, a lot of people have portfolio. There are people who are just meant to have patent number increasing. They're paid for it. All right. So it's a real good marketing strategy. A company has a lot of money, so they want to have investment. And investors are not people who understand technically everything. They will see the patent number many times. And these days people can talk big things. Oh, I got a wonderful patent. Nobody has got, and I got 3 US patents and 2 European patents and all that thing. Number matters many times. But if the real technical person starts going through all your patents, they'll find it rubbish patents. Have make no sense. And utility. So all these are very important requirements of patentability. Please see that whichever idea you are working on for your business plan, think about all these aspects associated with it. Is it something very obvious? Is it something absolutely new? All right? Does it have utility? It has to have all these forms if you want to really patent it. Is it an abstract idea? Are you talking about something? All right. So please think about all these aspects. The procedural requirements are, when I am filing a patent, I should write down everything in such a way that it enables others to reproduce the results. That means, as I said, my patent writing is, a patent will be 4 to 5 to 10 pages, to 20 pages also. I should write down every small details of the processes, be it conceptually, be it chemical process wise, that I should heat something up to 40 degrees centigrade, keep it there for 50 minutes, bring it down to 20, again heat it, or add something to it. Or if your manufacturing part, I should actually mention the tolerances if they are important. From the working point of view, if I have got a device on mind, I will have to explain all those small little things in my patent application. That's why I say, when I file a patent, I actually enable others to duplicate it. So you have to be very careful. Should I file a patent? By filing a patent, I am spreading knowledge everywhere. All right. So very important. Definiteness and claims and boundaries. When I got a property, if I got a plot, which I call a property, I should know how many square feet it is, isn't it? I say 50 by 60 plot. I say 100 by 200 plot. I got some boundaries very well defined. Similarly, if I got an intellectual property now, if I got a patent now, I should have all the claims written properly. And I should see that between the two lines, nobody can have different meanings, because otherwise that person will file a claim there and he can write a patent there. Oh, you have not said that thing, I am saying this. So therefore I cannot write a patent. I have to have patent attorneys to write patent for me, because those people understand this great deal. This is like a little legal profession basically, and that's why patent attorneys make huge money. And many students from our lab now are going writing patent because they understand technical thing also, and they are trained to write a patent then. Patent writing is a very important job these days. In India, we don't have so many patent writers. That's why patent grant is taking a lot of time. Patent reviewers, because they have to understand technical thing and they have to understand legal thing also. So these are the things that are your claims properly written? Does it write what you meant to claim for? All right, all these are very important. And you should give all the result in the best mode possible. If I am claiming 85% efficient engine, if I am claiming an 85% efficiency engine, this should be my best result. I should not write for 80%, because tomorrow somebody can come with 85 and file a patent then. All right, so your claim should be for the best result that you got. Otherwise, somebody can find a loophole in your patent and he will get a better grant, he or she will get a better grant, and you will be, because you didn't claim 85. Understand that? So, you always should give best mode, but give real result. Never write fake results in that thing. The moment you write fake result, you can actually be get caught. Because the patent attorney can actually come down and say, or tomorrow the grant IPO office can, okay, we would like to see that thing, show me. They don't come actually, but 1 in 100 cases, they can actually come down to your lab, and you have to actually maintain the documentation. In IIT, we give one book to everybody, all the MTech and PhD student, which is supposed to write everyday thing. In my company where I work, I will have a signature at the end of the week from some witness that yes, we had got this, and this stands in the court. Tomorrow somebody claim that I have done this and not he has done this. I got a proof to show that. Look, I got a lab book here. This special book is for writing all the documentation done for patenting. Ideas and concepts cannot be patented. I have to have some proof of concept. I have to have some prototype working. You just can't have, just think aloud. I'm just thinking I've got a fantastic idea and I want to patent. Not possible.
Nowadays we are getting a mails or something that idea can be patented like that.
Sir, is framework or models patentable? It's like supply chain models.
Algorithms that falls in category. See, this is a device, this is a product.
Value stream, future.
Yeah, if you feel that there is an algorithm into it and something new and novelty and everything, then yes, it can be. Now I'll come to copyright now.
Patent be assigned to assignees.
Can a patent be?
In your case, that NMR case, you have assigned your idea.
So we have in IIT Bombay several things. If I work with an industry, we share a patent.
No, but can the same patent be assigned with or shared with two, three companies?
That's what I'm saying. No, if we work together, in IIT we work with so many industries. There are multi-funded projects. All right. So whatever patent we do, we share the patent rights amongst us. It's a very normal thing. Why should industry give me a fund me for doing something, some work? We always say that we share the patents.
For a company outside your group.
Company, yes, outside company.
Outside your group, which is not part of the patent initially, or which is not funded your work.
Yeah.
And
No, then I will license the patent. Why should I give the patent to them? If the money is put by an industry, right? If I am doing my research work based on the funding done by some industry, which is very common here, then naturally the clause could be, depending on the understanding between the two parties, that whatever IP get generated, it will be shared equally. A company would say, give me all the rights. There are companies who say, give all the rights because we are funding you. That can also be arrangement provided I'll ask more money. They may say that give me exclusive right also. So there are every models of various types. I'm dealing with that every day literally.
license can be given to multiple parties.
Yeah.
Add to what you are talking about. See, there are two aspects to this patents: authorship and ownership.
Yeah, I'll come to that. The inventors and assignee.
Okay, so maybe if I am working for an industry, I can be an author for that patent, because that's what we are claiming, that we must be authors. But if we are charging enough, then we will give the ownership to the company. Or there can be MOUs,
Yeah.
various types of
So
MOUs.
inventorship cannot be taken away from me anyway. Inventor, I am inventor because we have done in our lab. If the other party from industry is also contributing, he can also be one of the inventors with me. I should acknowledge, and we should actually talk together. But the patent can be assigned to them depending on the kind of MOU that we have got, or we can share. So assignment can be with IIT Bombay and let's say GE, for example, with whom we are working in a large way right now.
Sir, for example, I have given an idea that has no validity, but I got the patent for 5 years. But during these 5 years, someone have make the modification that can increase the utility and the efficiency of the model, it can, the person can again take the patent.
It has to be proven that because you have filed the patent first, right? You got a prior art. That means you got the first, you have applied it first. The second person has filed it later, but he takes idea from you, for example. Now, whether it is obvious then, that may be obvious in that case. Lot of things have come from your patent. In that case, you can see this is all court now. You can actually sue them that look, I got a prior art in this area. But yes, if you have got 80 to 85%, he has done major changes, then he can also claim. So depending on whether it qualifies this, whether he says that it has got novelty, it is non-obvious, yes, he can claim. And we can disprove him also if you want to. Right? But he can naturally, he has filed a patent, means he believes that he has done major changes. Obvious changes he will not get. All right. So that's why you say that you have to file for the best result that you have got. I think we'll have more discussion in the time to come. Let me run through the ideas overall, and then we can have more discussions and we can actually discuss this later on. Yeah, one question. Sorry?
Mathematical proof will not be having any experimental result, but we will have a mathematical proof. In case of a cryptanalysis, we are going to break the cryptographic concept into a mathematical proof. Such kind of a concept can we go for a patent?
Well, a lot of software these days are getting into this area based on mathematics only. So yes, depending on the product that you are talking about, mathematical proof is an algorithm that you are talking about, can be copyrighted. Model algorithm can be copyrighted. So every model mathematics has got some algorithm, iterative procedure, some kind of a new thing, if at all it is. Yes, it can be. I'll come to that, copyright. I'll go type of patents, utility patents, design patents, plant patents. What is important is provisional patent. So I have started working in a new area, for example, today. And I am not still sure myself what result would be. So there is a problem right now. Let's say there is a malaria and some drug has to be discovered. There is some kind of disease, let's not call it malaria, some kind of a disease, and I have started working towards it. But this is a hot area, naturally. The hot area can be actually seen by number of patents getting filed in that particular area. So I am sure that I am started working, I got some money, but I don't have results right now to patent for. I don't have claims right now. So I say work in progress. If I say work in progress, I can find a provisional patent today. And within 1 year, I have to file the full patent. All right, so it's like I got a project, I got the money, and I'm going to get some grand result. I believe I got a fantastic idea. But claims are very important. The boundaries that you write are very important, and I don't have those boundaries yet defined to me because my research has to happen. It will take time. In that case, today I can find 2-page provisional patent, and it's like a work in progress. But within 1 year, I will have to file a full patent. If I miss that, it gets lapsed. And again, I have to file a provisional patent, if at all, if I wanted to do. But I have to pay for everything. Provisional has to pay less money, but all right. So very important for a lot of entrepreneurs who come with intellectual property and they got a fantastic idea and they believe that this idea will work. And I've seen such people basically. And every entrepreneur has to actually think that yes, I'm going to break this, I'm going to break the world, and I'm going to get something big contribution done to this world. And I got fantastic idea. He has to believe. And then he said, okay, let me file a patent because this idea is great and grand. But today I don't have the claims. Then he'll file a provisional patent.
So provisional patent is nothing but a patenting idea.
Patenting?
Idea.
No, I already started working. I'm not just ideating. I actually show the code, but provisional patent will not be contested so much. The patents, when you have to have full claims. All right. So in India and United States and some other countries, a temporary patent application to protect invention while work in progress. So I have actually, see, the fact that I have got idea, I have worked towards it. No, suddenly I can't wake up today morning, let me do something in quantum physics. I mean, who am I to work in quantum physics? Unless I am from quantum physics and I have worked towards it, that is enough to prove that look, I have got all the background requirement for that thing. You can't suddenly jump into an area, unknown area, and say, okay, I want to find a provisional patent. Nobody will give you. you have to, while writing a provisional patent, also you have to show that I have done ABC. D, E, F have not yet been done. All right, very important. You have to prove it.
What is the time it takes for getting the provisional?
Fast, it is fast. Yeah. Must be completed within 12 months. See, time is not very important because once you have filed, you got date. That is prior art date. After that, anybody will do, I will contest that. I have got my first idea. Because it's a new area. Where will provisional area come? Provisional patent will come in a new area, hot area. When I know that a lot of people are working in this. Otherwise, why should I file a provisional patent by giving more money? All right. So right now the need is something, and I know that tens of people are working in this area, and naturally I would like to have it first prior art in this case. So within 12 months I have to complete by the filing of a complete patent. Otherwise, it lapses and you lose the priority in that case. The legal requirement of provisional application may be less than those for a complete application. For example, it is not necessary to include claims. Claims is the most important thing. And the fact that I am not required to write claims in a provisional application means less burden for me because I don't know the claims right now. I will actually working towards having claims, boundaries to be defined, very important. Foreign patents. The moment I believe that this particular innovation which I am making has got commercial possibilities in US and China and this and that, I have to file to every country now by paying almost 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs each. So I should judge properly, is that patent required? For an entrepreneur, this is a lot of money. All right, but there is a very small window in time. Unless you do this application, you will lose the opportunity then. So when I file a patent, within some time I have to actually make a decision which country or should I file an international patent application. It's called as PCT application. So territorial right restricted by a grant giving country, no concept of world patent or international patent, system of filing international patent application for the purpose of priority date and examination exists under Patent Cooperation Treaty called PCT. So moment I file a patent, within first 6 weeks, I will be asked a question by my patent attorney, sir, would you like to go for PCT application? That means, would you like to go for international application? If I miss that window, I am gone. Then I have to have only my country's patent. All right, so I should be ready with all my plans before I file a patent. That look, I would like to file a patent in China, I would like to file a patent in Australia, depending on what you believe the business is. You should be ready with all these things, the details. There are people in big companies, there are separate patent division where people are just thinking about and having a watch on others. Instead of you doing something, you actually keep a watch on what others are doing. Very important because the patent war is terrific actually right now. So they actually keep a watch on others, what others are filing, what are their claims, suing them. Because a small company, the moment they come in, they will go and file a case against them that they are utilizing our patent, they are infringing on our patents. So their startups will not survive. All right, big companies are doing that thing. So here, after 18 months, this PCT will get published. So every patent, when you file, it gets published after a year or 18 months. It is on open domain now, and anybody can claim that this is nothing new. They can actually raise objections to it. This takes a lot of time. It will be kept for one year like that in open purview for everybody to object. And all these objections will be then collected, will be reviewed, and then will decide whether the patent to be granted or not. All right. So similarly, after 18 months, this PCT date is very important. For example, I am working in India and somebody working in Japan. Now I got a language problem anyway. So what I am doing is absolutely unknown to somebody in Japan, literally. But he is working on the same thing, I am working on the same thing. Whose date will be taken first? And I am working in India. So the date is when I file a PCT is treated at par with everybody in the world. So this is a common platform where an international application I have done, when I have done that thing, will be treated as prior art date. All right. So Japanese people will not be able to do that thing because I have already filed PCT application. My date is the prior art date.
But sir, you file US patent and Japanese may find European patent. Is that possible with the same set of
No,
findings?
when the patent get granted, I will have my prior art date. I can sue them now. Look, I am the first.
So it is
Yeah, across the globe. Priority is across the globe. Who is doing the first? I may not go for different countries. I will not even notice it. But tomorrow, if I want to go in Japan and do a business, I will notice that there is somebody who is there and who is actually, I got original patent with me. Then I can sue him in that country.
And if somebody, you're for the same work, you're finding a paper, you're applying for a patent, and somebody for the same work has published a paper in the open domain.
Then it's open knowledge. No, there's nothing novelty. So very important is, and I'll come to that again. If you feel that somebody can be patented, don't publish it first. File the patent and publish. So even if you not talk about in a workshop or a conference also. So your enemies, your competitors can say, oh, he's already open knowledge because he already presented this paper somewhere. That presented paper may not even come in proceedings. But you have officially presented that in open knowledge. And then he or she can say that this is now nothing novel about this. This is already an open domain, public knowledge. Anything is in public knowledge cannot be patented. I'll come to that also.
What about BTech, MTech dissertation?
Yes, they're gone. They're in public knowledge. So what we do here is, before our MTech, BTech PhD thesis go in public knowledge, suppose they have not published a paper also. The fact that I feel my PhD work can be patented, I will not publish it. It all depends on professor. And my PhD thesis will not be open to everybody else unless I file the patent. Actually, Dean R&D's office will send a mail to everybody. Is there anything worth patenting in your thesis? Actually, we have got a person who actually reviews all the things, and we say that out of 300 theses, maybe we find 25 are good ideas, can they be patented?
But already that person has presented his work during.
If it is published, no, nothing can be done. So there could be something unpublished also.
During defense also, he will be presenting.
Well, defense actually defense can be closed door then. So we actually give all the input to the guides, to the supervisors, that if you feel there's something to be protected or patented, then it should not be open defense then. And actually, you can sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, to the person who comes as the external examiner also. So we actually can do closed door defense examination also. But naturally, the PhD requirements are publication. Most of the places, the PhD requirements are publication, and there could be knowledge will be open. But there could be a project. For example, DRDO has sponsored some project, or some company has sponsored a project, and their requirement is that not publishing. Then we agree that.
If critical data is not published.
Yeah. So depending on that, critical data, but even the knowledge should not go public. Whatever you want, depending on what you want to file as patent, basically. It all depends. Data need not be made public because industry want that, but that cannot be patented. Data is not patentable, isn't it? I should not reveal some company secrets to others. But patentable idea that my thesis has possibly, if you feel that it is something, first file a patent and then publish. That is a simple way, and normally all the supervisors and professors know this now. But it is a very important thing. The students are also nowadays they also understand, can we patent this out? But you have to first make a case. See, is it going to be commercial? Just for the sake of getting a patent, there's no point. You have to see commercial value around it. Are you going to make money out of it? Then there's a point. Okay, the point Professor Bapat had raised is inventorship versus ownership. If I am doing the work, yes, I am the inventor always, but I am not the owner of it. Okay, it's like I got a rental property. I have given for example, I am living in rented property of somebody. I do the changes in the house, but I am not the owner, right? All these changes are assigned to the real owner of the person. With his permission, I am doing some changes, like that. So I am the inventor. Because in IIT Bombay, I am expected to do innovation. In IIT Bombay, I am expected to do IP generation. My job is that. I am the inventor. I have assigned all my patents to IIT Bombay, or whoever the funding agencies in addition to IIT Bombay, plus some company or whatever, company A, company B. It can be a multi-funded project also. So we got our office, Dean R&D's office actually looks after all this MOUs, IP, deliberation with company. All right, we have to see in the absolute minutest detail, because we have got most of the examples now obvious. So anything which is commercial work, artistic work, architecture work, computer software, reports by consultation, sponsorship grants, actually depends on what kind of relationship you have. If I ask the contractors to make a big building, nice building for me, I will have some kind of understanding with them that IP belongs to us. Such building will not allow to be everywhere. So the contract, when you work with somebody, for example, if I am working with a company, the contract with company should spell out to whom the IP will belong to. Similarly, when I am employing a contractor for building, particular building, I may have some big idea about my building. Possibly it want to have zero energy consumption. It should have only solar energy. All right, it should not take any electrical energy, for which therefore I will say that is my IP. You are just executing it, and I will make an MOU with him. I will have an agreement with him that this kind of building you will not have anywhere else. It's completely my property. So you actually have to make a kind of agreement with these people to come out with such designs. IITB IP policy is very simple. Everything is assigned to IIT Bombay. All the students, PhD, MTech and everybody. It doesn't mean that we would like to make money out of this. It means that if the students or the professor would like to start company, our policy is very entrepreneurial oriented. If they want to do something, we will give the right to them. But tomorrow, they say, okay, I am done, I am not very happy with my entrepreneurial activity and I am failed in this venture, maybe, then we will keep the right to give it to somebody else also. You understand? The first right of refusal is given to the person who has developed that IP. We say right to refusal. So if I have developed some IP, the institute will ask me, do you want to become entrepreneur? I said no. Then they will say, okay, now let us see outwards. Let us see if the companies are interested in that thing. If the company is interested, they will give some money, out of which 70% will come to me and 30% will go to IIT Bombay. That is our sharing right, 70-30. Any consulting work, any IP ownership, any royalty, we have got division between faculty members and inventors, not faculty, I should say. The inventor can be my student also with me.
So what is the time frame? The right to refusal, how much time you will be given? That you can refuse it within a year, within 2 years, within 20 years?
So it's completely left to faculty. The faculty is the king here actually, to be honest. So if I say, see, whoever I am licensing to will not understand ABC unless he comes and talks to the faculty member. You understand? To develop the work in my lab, if I want to translate, the outside agency has to come to me to understand. If not, I am not willing to help him and cooperate with him, he will not come forward.
But
Because
if your invention has some commercial value or commercial...
so actually it's on our website.
And you don't want to commercialize it. It will
So immediately it can go. The faculty member should be ready, that's it.
If he is not ready, and IITB is ready, but you are the
Yeah, see, if faculty member doesn't want to cooperate, then it can not be possible. But the fact that he has allowed them to keep it on website and everywhere, that means he's, and why should faculty member say no? Because everybody would like to have their innovation reaching out to people, society. I don't want that my IP sitting in my lab, I will hate it to have. So everybody should look that ultimately all these are taxpayers' money, isn't it? So everything I am doing in my lab is based on the money that I am getting from government, for example. It should reach out to society. That is what everybody should aim for. Why should the faculty member say, no, I will not do business and I will not allow anybody to do? That is not correct thing. And possibly nobody, unless the faculty member really engrossed in work, what he will say, okay, this is my PhD student, you work with him. I don't have time. There are several like this, who say, let me work on other things because I am absolutely busy. But this is my PhD student who worked on this thing and he is interested. Naturally, our PhD student also is one of the inventors anyway, because he has worked and contributed to development of such a system.
So that is one side, but you said that the IP policy has to be accepted and signed by all IITB personnel.
Yeah.
Now let's say being a faculty member, he denies.
It is?
He denies to give the ownership to
That is our service condition.
Okay.
That is our service condition. That when I join this place, I sign a declaration that I abide by, it's like IT policy. IT policy and IP policy, I have to abide by that thing.
So it's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Of course, I am getting salary, no? Why should I say no? I am getting my lab space. I am using all significant usage is being done on the IIT campus, which is provided by IIT Bombay. They can of course have full right to claim that thing, isn't it?
But yesterday you said that somebody.
I am saying because I have been employed to do research. A accounts person sitting in accounts office, he can have a different clause. He is not employed to do research. Tomorrow he comes and he says, look, I don't have a laboratory. I have done in my work in my garage. He has to prove it now. And yes, we'll consider that. An employee, accountant is not expected to come out with new engine, for example. If he does, that means he has not used definitely the significant usage of IIT Bombay property here. Resources of IIT Bombay he has not used. He has had his own resources. He has to. There are several professors also actually that way. They come from US, let's say, and they have already an idea. And they can actually give a declaration that, look, this idea I had during my PhD days, and I have not used any significant resource. Significant usage is basically not internet. We say computer, internet is not significant usage. He may have used, that is not a problem. You should not use laboratory, should not consume money, should not take funding from IIT Bombay. If he proves that this is completely away from my specialization and I have worked in my garage space at home, a professor can also have his own independent IP in that case. Very special case, however. He can't claim that he can have his own IP in that case. Yes, absolutely. If it's a painting and he has done a painting, IIT Bombay will not claim that is IIT Bombay's painting now. Yes.
I don't have my copyright.
Yes, you have a copyright, of course. Okay, I'll go a little faster. So this communication that counts, if you are an inventor, never publish anything which is printed, publish. Microfilm, slides, drawing, photographs, speeches, handouts, all these will go against you. If you have done this presentation of this thing, any public forum, you will not be able to, somebody can sue you. I mean, nobody will prevent me to go ahead with IP because I will never tell, right? But tomorrow, the moment I start making money, other 10 people will say, oh, you are done. How did you get patent for this? Because they are getting affected. Their business is getting affected now. And those people can easily claim that, look, you had presented it there. How could you get patent? This is public knowledge. You can't get patent. So
government research grant proposals are not patentable. I mean, if
a lot of government grants are asking that they will share the patent now. For example, the money coming from DRDO, they are very this thing.
DRDO.
Yes, DST is not,
DST is patentable.
but they will do. I am in the DST committee and they started thinking about all these things. So everywhere the thought processes have started now. All right, the thought processes have started everywhere that when you got a funding agency, and actually DST is now pushing hard that when you come with a proposal, come with the industry also.
Yeah, that is true.
Right. In that case, you have to have your MOU done with the industry because they don't want. Why should somebody give just money right now for research unless it's applied research?
But for that extramural activities and all, there was no restriction on
Yeah, there is no restriction on that thing, and that was pure research mostly. All right. Trademark everybody knows. What is this trademark for? Starbucks. Moment I see from distance Starbucks, I know that the quality is assured for me, or I get a coffee of this taste, which appeals to me or which may not. So trademark becomes a symbol for the quality that it offers. All right, and trademarks are very, very therefore important. Moment I say Mercedes car, I know it cost me 50 lakhs rupees from distance, and naturally the owner of this should be a very rich person. I can suddenly assign qualities to the person also. All right. I say, oh, it can never be a faculty member. Come on, faculty member cannot have a Mercedes. Maximum Maruti or nowadays Honda City or something. A sign used to distinguish the goods and services offered from one another. Two main characteristics it should have. It should be distinctive. It should not be deceptive. Apple. The moment Apple I see, I know the quality. It has no corner. Apple computer should not have any corner. Shapes, very important. A trademark is a sign that individualizes the goods from a given enterprise and distinguishes them from the goods of its competitors. All right. The moment I see inclined edge, I know it's Hyundai. The moment I see vertical edge, I know it's Honda. All right. A lot of connotations to every trademark. Therefore, what considers trademark? A trademark may consist of words, designs, letters, numerals. Anything can be part of this. Okay. Nowadays, you have saints. some advertisement or some logo that come in newspaper advertisement also has got some saints. That is also their trademark. Symbols, service mark, hologram mark, sound, advertisement of jingle. MGM Studio, Toblerone. What is the trademark of Toblerone? You got a triangular thing. That is their trademark. Nobody can have a triangular chocolates now. Saint as trademark. So you can see trademark in this bottle everywhere. The name is written here. What is this logo for? McDonald's. So you got a slogan also associated with this. What is this trademark for? It's like a Vodafone Orange. You know, I got a SIM. I have used it in year 2000. It was very popular in Europe. Word Apple. You can see all these words are very important. Fly Me for an airline. Mercedes 4711 Cologne. GM, Fiat. All these are also trademarks basically for that particular car. They will not write General Motors. GM is what they have trademark for. Lacoste. What does Lacoste stand for? What product it is? The T-shirt. It's a crocodile here. Okay. The secondary meaning of trademark, it creates a mental association. I say I use only Adidas shoes, for example. I got association with it. There are a lot of people who believes in branding. You know, the young generation. I'm sure your kids. I want only Adidas. I want only this chocolate. I will not go by anything. They will not compromise anything right now. All right. So branding is a big war these days, and therefore everybody has association with the branding. I will go only for this drink. I will have only Pepsi, and I will not go for Coke, for example, or whatever. So that kind of a thing. This association makes. So one can have this trademark for indefinite because it builds up over a period of time. Association builds over a period of time, but you have to pay for it. You have to renew it. All right. Not like patents. Patent is valid for 20 years. But here we got an indefinite time. Copyright. The right to copy and make use of literary, dramatic, musical, artistic work, cinematography, film, records and broadcast. Everything can be copyrightable. Algorithm, software also. Include databases, computer programs, multimedia products. Property right comes into existence as soon as the work is created. As soon as done a painting, it belongs to me. It is my copyright. All right. I have to register, that's different, but it is my copyright. It becomes immediately. Copyright protect works, that is expression of thoughts and not idea. Very important. I will tell you what it means. Hindi film, you got a hero, heroine, villain, parents, you know general plot. If somebody copyright this plot itself, none of the Hindi film will come out. Can it be? Can you ban? I say, this is my plot. Come on, there is one hero, one heroine, the parents, somebody is objecting, there is some villain. If I got my copyright, then no Hindi film then. So I can't patent an idea. I can copyright the idea. That's an idea. The expressions are different, isn't it? A film A will have this expression in a different way than the film B and film C, and that is copyright. If I say tomorrow, I take 100 kids to the Powai Lake and say, draw the picture, sunset picture. Can I patent the idea of sunset pictures? No, because every kid will come with a different painting now, because that is his own expression. That is his copyright, his or her copyright. Is that the expression is the copyright. The expression of a Bollywood story is copyright, but not the plot. The plot cannot be copyright. A lot of people fight on this. This is my plot. This is my copyright. Every song, the song meanings are same. Most of the song will have plot the same. Romantic song, the plot is same, but the words are different. The lyrics are different. The music is different, and that is what is copyright. All right. So this is very important. The rights, economic rights, you got moral rights. For example, I got a book written, let's say I have written Marathi language, and somebody translated to Gujarati language. This is important that not only the translation should happen correctly, but it should also it should not get distorted in the context that I am writing. For example, something is insulting in Marathi language. Alright, sorry, something I have written in Marathi language is, when it is translated in Gujarati language, possibly becomes insulting there. But original work is not meant for that. But because of literary translation that had happened, it become, in the context that we are talking in other language now, possibly that will become a distorted work. So the original expression, original underlying thought process has to be retained. If it is not insulting here, that should not be insulting in that other language also. For example, this happens very true with international, if you are in a cultural, in a company where a lot of people from different community work together. For example, I was working with a lot of Russians. Something which is, we find it very sensible and very friendly becomes unfriendly in the Russian culture, let's say. So naturally, when I want to talk to them, I will not use that word. Similarly, whenever copyrights are, a book is translated in other language, the originality of that thought process to be retained. Alright, the literary translation may be actually sometimes offensive, that has to be understood, and the original sense has to be prevailing throughout, very important. Here it can be for 20 years copyright and can go up to 50 years, trade secret. So trade secret is keeping the secret basically. So I am doing a process start from here and the process ends here. Whatever it all undergoes different process, actually is trade secret for me. Mostly will be true for some drinks, some eatables, some recipe or some chemical process. So I have to retain this, I have to register this, and I have to follow some norms to be used as trade secret then. Alright, so the extent to which the information is known to public, the point is, should I put this as trade secret or should I file a patent? You know both the aspects now. If I file a patent, I will reveal everything. If I don't file a patent but I trade secret, I will not reveal anything. Therefore, I will never have somebody who will duplicate me. But somebody can come in and patent it also. There is a danger to this. If I am not patented, I have kept it trade secret, somebody can come and do a patent, then he will prevent me from doing business. So I have to actually make a judgmental call here that should I file a patent and allow everything, but that means reverse engineering people can do everything. I am allowing reverse engineering because I have filed a patent, I have revealed everything, it can be reverse engineered in that case. So if I want to make trade secret now, I should plan it. What will I do? If I want to not to reveal anything, what should I do? For example, let's say Coca-Cola drink. It starts from A and ends at Z. What will I do? Because the people can talk, you know, the people who are working in between can actually come out together and actually know everything. My trade secret is no more secret then. So what I do, I'll divide this company into 5 different companies. And the people in company number 1 will know only what happens in process 1, 2, 3, 4. Process in next company take this from 4 and they do 4, 5, 6, 7. They will never know what was the pre-processing, they will never know what post-processing was this. And such work, therefore, from A to Z, nobody in particular knows what happens to this.
But if they come together?
If they come, but if I have taken care of all these things and tomorrow they come, I can sue them then. Because when I am filing a trade secret, I am actually following a procedure. They are supposed to have written all the NDAs also. Alright, so all the NDA non-disclosure agreements are in place. They are not supposed to talk each other. If at all it happens, actually I can sue them and I can get all the compensation in that case. But therefore you have more divisions and have completely different people together. And the processes in between these also should be segregated. So in the 4, 5, 6, 7 also I should have people not going from here to there. They will never know what happens after this and before this. So there are provisions that has to be made, and actually the secrecy and everything has to be kept properly. Then only the trade secret rights will be there.
Can be patented by somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fallback of somebody patents it, I'm gone. But somebody patenting should have the same taste, isn't it? You should get the same pav bhaji or Golgappa or Coca-Cola or whatever. That's not so simple. Can you claim that your mother's cooking can be done by some other different? You'll possibly not find same person all over the world, maybe. It's like that. Okay, I think I'll stop here. I just wanted to give you a glimpse of all the 4 or 5 categories by which your intellectual property can be protected. So, we talked about patents, we talked about copyrights, we talked about industrial design. I didn't talk about industrial design, but I'll come to that thing. Anyway, industrial design is the car shape, and I think aesthetics, we talked about industrial design also. So, all these things are the way that an entrepreneur need to know in order to, if you are starting a business around, please see that if it's a copyright can be done or a patenting can be done. Mostly trade secret will not exist unless you are getting food stuff, but industrial design is possible. How it looks to aesthetics to your eyes. I'll stop here. Let's break for tea and we can have discussion down there.